we should have a countdown.
All right.
Great, so we have started. Dear colleagues, greetings again. That is the second session, the second speaker for today. And today we have here Marianna Niemi, a business developer for the global study choice platform Studyportals. And her topic for today is how to promote university, online courses, and programs in a highly competitive environment. So that topic is very of us, I think, want to know more about that competition because all the universities, each of us want to be the first. So, dear Marianna, you're welcome to start.
All right, great. Thank you, Alexei. I will actually start already by sharing my screen. So let's see if I'm able to do that. All right, are you perhaps able to see my presentation right now? Alexei, are you still able to respond? Okay, well, I hope you are, as I'm changing for different tabs while I'm sharing my screen. I cannot anymore see the chat. I cannot see anything within the portal that we are working on for doing this presentation and these sessions. So hopefully you will see everything perfectly, and I hope Alexei will quote me if not. So thank you indeed for joining this How to Promote University online courses and programs in a highly competitive environment. The goal of this presentation is that you have an overall idea on the best practices to promote for your students, for your target students. And we are going to talk about different topics such as student journey, Generation Z, online versus offline, return of investment guarantees, and online tracking. And then, who am I? Well, Alexei told you already a little bit. That was a very kind, nice introduction. So I am Marianna Niemi, indeed, working as a business developer for global study choice platform Studyportals. What I do, I help universities to optimize their international student recruitment strategies. And I'm here now today to share you a piece of my expertise. Well, but before we start talking about promoting and how to be competitive, we need to understand and make sure that we're all on the same page on who we are marketing to. Now, in the past years, we have went through an amazing technological transformation, which also has then made our generations to transform and to develop rapidly. And here in this visual, you can see a little bit on the different generations and how they work. And now we're talking about first on the priority contact channel that has been for each of the generations. So if we start from the baby boomers, 1946 to 1960 born, they used to call. If they wanted to see a friend, they used to call. For Generation X, 1961 to 1980, email. Email was the channel. Email was the way to communicate. And then we come to the millennials, Generation Y, 1981, 1995 borns. Text message was their primary contact channel, at least before. But now, as you can see, we're talking about lastly on the Generation Z, born after 1995. For them, the primary channel, at least last year, was Snapchat, which, if you're not aware, is this social media platform and a channel where you can actually quite anonymously contact your friends or the people who you know. And this has indeed been last year's primary channel for the Generation Z. But now we're talking about digital natives who use a lot of different channels for communication. And of course, all the other generations as well has adjusted while the world has become more modern, and all these channels like Snapchat, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger and such has merged. Also, those generations uses those channels more. But because we are universities, we are working on higher education, Generation Z is actually our target audience. And what is good to understand about Generation Z is that they do everything mobile first. It actually takes 8 seconds for Generation Z to decide whether the web content they are viewing is worth of consuming more. They check their social media approximately 100 times a day. They prefer to be fully informed before making any sort of purchase. They expect a user experience designed for them, and they prefer video content, and they consume only search results that appear in the first page of Google. I think the main ones for us to look at here are definitely the attention span of 8 seconds. And then also the fact that for Generation Z, if you're not searchable from Google within the first search page, you don't exist. Now, what about the student journey then? How does the student journey look like? And now we're talking about student journey, meaning the journey from the initial idea for any student to, hey, I want to study abroad, to actually enroll to a university. Now, in the past, the student journey used to be very linear and straightforward. So from the initial idea, the students might have went to talk to their friends, talk to their university teachers, join student fairs, and they join sessions of where different universities from all around, from different countries come and present, or they talk to agents, private agents, who then shows them different options of their cooperation universities. And from there on, the student moves on to making their priority lists and then applying and finally enrolling for a university. Now, if we look at the student journey now, how it looks like, it's way more complex. And this is also due to the fact that the Generation Z right now that we're talking about does everything mobile first. So the student journey, what we know actually based on the research we have done at Studyportals, is that the student journey takes approximately 15 months. 15 months from the initial idea for the students to actually enroll to the university abroad. That is a long, long time, and it includes going back and forth between different channels. Those channels can be the university website, it can be a different online educational platform, it can be social media channels, it can be a YouTube channel, it can be a lot of different things. It can be experience sharing, it can be ranking, top ranking checklists, and things like this. And it does still include also the part that was in a very important role in the previous student journey visual, which is then joining for student fairs, talking physically to university representatives and so on. But the role of it has become smaller, and for the online to emerge, it takes a lot of space from the student journey, right? And what we also know is that 80% of prospecting students wanting to study abroad starts from Google. And what they do, they make 3 to 4 university shortlists. And what we also know is that 75% does not choose outside of the shortlist. 75% does not choose outside of their initial 3 to 4 university shortlist. This means that the universities need to be cautious of being able to catch the students early on their student journey. Now, online versus offline and promotion for students. Just to clarify here, what I mean when I talk about offline marketing is then indeed student fairs, traditional agents, university visits at different countries, for example, anything that would happen more physically. This also includes brochures that you use in the student fair, anything in paper. And then we're comparing that to online marketing, which means indeed anything that happens online, anything that we put online for promoting our universities. Now, here I'm showing you the differences and mainly now the cons of online marketing. So what is good to keep in mind is that in offline marketing, the audience is always limited, and the targeting is also always limited. And with offline marketing, the communication can be a little bit delayed, and limit the possibilities to measure the campaigns that happens offline is also limited, and often these offline solutions are rather costly. If you compare that to online marketing, you're able to actually access a global reach, but you do have an opportunity to do smart targeting. You can do immediate communication, and this is something I'm comparing now to the delayed communication that I meant with offline marketing. So, for example, if you would change your brand visuals, if you would change or want to use a new marketing message and start trying with that one, you can go online the next day or the same day even. Offline, the communication is always a little bit delayed. Online marketing, you always have a possibility to measure campaigns. That is definitely one big positive side about online marketing. And offline marketing can be very impactful. So I'm not by no means saying that offline marketing is something that we should forget altogether. And it's also easy to understand. It can be impactful, easy to understand, but we cannot just deny the immense possibilities that online marketing offers us. And in ideal situations, we of course can do both. We can do offline and online marketing to cover both of the channels. But now, yeah, indeed. First, I will show you the return of investment analysis. This is something that we have also conducted at Studyportals. So what we know is that the digital marketing, when it comes to analyzing the return of investment, has a 52% impact. Agency referrals 34. So those are definitely the main channels when it comes to analyzing the return of investment. But there are still different things like recommendations, word of mouth, 7%, which is also quite a good share. But now we need to remember that COVID-19 impacts on this and these shares. These shares and the visual that I showed you here has been something that we have done before COVID-19. Now that the COVID-19 happened and we are not able to travel and visit the students, we're not able to join student fairs physically, and all these things are now off from the table. We need to really look at the digital marketing solutions that are possible for universities to reach their ideal students. Now, how can I guarantee the best possible return of investment online? First of all, you need to have a quality website. So what means quality website? You need to have modern visuals and clear navigation. This is extremely important for the generations that, like we saw before. They make their decision based on 8 seconds, whether they're going to stay at the page or not. So therefore, the modern visual and clear navigation are one key things for a quality website. Quality website also makes contacting easy for the students. Also, applying has been made easy for the students. The quality website has pictures and videos besides only having text. And it has full English versions. So the translation for the international students is full and fully done for the whole homepage. It has minimized steps from more info to action. So goes with the clear navigation, but more even talking about students who perhaps lands on your website through some digital marketing campaign from an external party, for example, it is good to make sure that your landing page has minimized steps for the student to take action, and the landing page is encouraging the students to take action. Quality website also has precise and clear content. It is mobile friendly. And what the Generation Z really appreciates is that there are some return of investment guarantees for the students. So they want to see, what am I gaining if I choose this university and I finish this degree? For example, some universities mention in their website if they have some statistics on how many of the students who graduate from their university actually gets a job within the first year or so. This is one good example, but it can be also different things. What is also important for Generation Z is that there are testimonials on the website. So Generation Z loves stories. Storytelling, not only for universities and even maybe more for companies and different types of brands that the generations are purchasing things from, it is important that they're able to tell a story, because the Generation Z wants to assimilate themselves to a story and then make the decision to buy, or perhaps in this case, to apply and enroll. Then I have listed here 3 main no-nos for having a quality website. So what you should not have is PDFs or PDF downloads at the website. It's always better to have links to another landing page or another tab, but avoid always having PDF downloads. Also, for the application process and so on, it is good to make sure that everything that at least is possible happens online and is more automated. No misleading contacting options. So if you use contact form on your website, do not add also email address in that contact form. Have either or, and preferably have the contact form, and I will tell you in the next slide why. No shared program pages. So always preferably have one program page for each program, just to keep the content visually and also content-wise as clear and precise as possible. More about quality website. So choose well the landing pages you use for marketing, as you want them to be informative, attractive, and calling to action, something I mentioned already before. If you are unsure how to check if your website corresponds to today's requirements, it's good to know that you can always look into external website audits. There are different companies. Also, for example, we at Studyportals do this, that we help the universities to analyze their websites, where is the stage of the website, what can be improved, and how to do it. So this is just good to keep in mind. Now, coming for the contact form that I mentioned, that I want to specify a little bit. So contact form is something that Generation Z also likes. They are used to contact companies or universities or any kind of external parties through contact forms, because that's easy, that's fast. They see the contact form, they type their name, their own email address, phone number, and quickly the message and press send. They don't have to open anything separately. They don't have to open their email separately, nothing. They can just click the contact form and that's it. And a good contact form is located early on the relevant, ideally actually all of your website tabs or pages. And it is integrated to your university's CRM system. This way you can also do more automated responses for the universities, and therefore you can make your work easier. And the contact form, good contact form, does not indeed include a university email address separately, because then that would discourage the student some of the students to fill in the contact form, and they may get lost, and they may open their email and send the email separately. You're not able to send the automated responses, or perhaps they start typing the email but then don't finish. That's also a possible risk that is happening if you include the email address in the contact form. Better to have either or. Now, if we're talking about return of investment and how you can guarantee that, it is good to keep in mind that you can have a good website. You can have amazing partners and campaigns with external marketing channels and marketing companies, such as portals, Google marketing, different kinds of things. But if you don't respond quickly to inquiries, that is one thing that can impact on your return of investment. So it's good to keep in mind that the Generation Z expects email response within 1 day. If it's not you who responds that fast, it might be a competitor. When you respond to your inquiries, when you get email fill outs from the contact forms like we can see here on the previous slide, it is good to keep in mind that it is definitely your advantage to keep engaging with your prospecting students. So not only respond to quickly to inquiries, but also keep engaging with your prospecting students. Guarantee user-friendly application process. This is also definitely something to keep in mind, and something that can impact on your return of investment, no matter what kind of online campaigns or physical campaigns you're doing. So make sure that the application process has been made easy, clear, and smooth. Support the transition from application to enrollment as well. So keep communicating with the students. And also for the whole journey from application to enrollment, make sure that the students are actually aware of all possible benefits you offer, such as student housing support, scholarships, or such. Because these are all important factors for the prospecting students. And if you do not bring these kinds of benefits into the consideration of your prospecting students, the competitor might, and then that might impact on the enrollments that you will get. How can I be sure my marketing investment will be worth it? Well, you never can for 100%. This is what I also always say to my clients, is that if you're doing any type of marketing, you cannot ever be 100% sure of the results, of the success. But you can have quite good estimations. And what is even better is that when you're doing campaigns online, you can track the results and you can adjust your campaigns if needed. And by the end of the campaign, if you're doing it online, you will have a clear overview of the true return of investment. And then you can know where you want to invest further and further and further. So that definitely is something helpful to track your results. How the universities can track them? Well, mainly you can do Google Analytics tracking. This is to see, mainly to see how your own website performs, but also with specific tracking with also external campaigns that you may have with portals or other external marketing or promotional companies. You can use Google Analytics very well to follow the return of investment on external party campaigns as well. And also, if you're working, for example, with Facebook advertisement or indeed portals or external marketing agencies, they always also deliver you reporting. And that's something that you can also keep in mind when you're tracking your results, and what you also should do. So what are the benefits of online tracking then? What are the further benefits of online tracking? So recognizing the most efficient marketing channels is definitely one big benefit when you do track online and you do track what you do online. Recognizing what works for your university and what not is definitely a big benefit, because indeed you can then further on make always even better decisions. And developing better marketing strategies is a big, huge benefit as well, because if you actually track your results, whatever you do online or even physically, when you analyze your data, when you analyze your marketing data, you can develop better marketing strategies for the future. And we're now also not talking only about short-term future, but the long-term future. Keep in mind to look into external data sources, so always compare between different data sources and make data-based decisions. From the moment on when you start having better look at your marketing data and the results of different campaigns and so on, and the results of enrollments, where do students come from, how many applied from different countries or such, make always data-based decisions. So whatever you decide, base it always on the data that you can look at. What is also important is to when you're developing your marketing strategies is to think how you want to position yourself and what kind of student you should target. So you can think things like comparable universities, what are your strengths and what are your challenges. For example, I was just recently talking to a university in the Netherlands, here in the Netherlands, where I also actually am based. And this university was talking to me about their challenge, not knowing how they should position themselves and how they should do a competitor analysis. Now, this was a private university in the Netherlands that has a lot higher tuition fees than the other universities in the Netherlands, the public ones have. But however, their strength was huge. In the nationwide rankings, their university has ranked 5 years in a row being the best university, offering the best quality education. Now, if we were talking with them, I was talking with them, with our data and analytics team as well, and what we concluded is that perhaps they should not compare themselves between the different universities in the Netherlands, but they should have a look at similar universities in Europe, for example, similar private universities offering the same type of tuition fee. Then we're looking at, okay, well, what is the type of a student that these kind of universities attract? It is not a student who is looking into having a good budget option. It is a student who definitely wants to enroll to a university that offers the best quality education. And from there on, we made a conclusion that we at Studyportals can help them to further analyze the competition and also help them to position themselves better on the market and define what the student persona looks like, that they are, what is their main target audience. So yeah, make sure that you also conduct analysis like competitor analysis or market research if you have not done that for a while. Now, especially when the world has changed due to COVID-19 and different factors, it is good to make sure that your strategies and your research you did 5 years ago has been updated to today. So what to take into consideration when analyzing data then? So it is good to keep in mind that when you start analyzing data, you need to be careful with what you're looking. So there are typical data pitfalls like incomplete data, missing data, misleading visualization, or not enough data. Not enough data means the sample is too small. So this is definitely something good to keep in mind, that always look at the source that you're analyzing the data from critically. For example, these visuals on the screen now, they are something that I have pulled out from our Studyportal statistics. So here you can see what was searched from Studyportals this year by students who are interested in studying in Russia. Now, At Studyportals, the user activity that we yearly have is 36 million unique users yearly, and from all around the world. So, you could actually conclude based on these visuals that looking at the visuals alone, Russian universities have a lot of potential to promote their IT and engineering masters for Indian prospects in Studyportals. And because Studyportals is a good reference, perhaps this applies for overall online. But there should be additional data to answer first questions like, what about searches relevant for Russian universities that have been made based on the disciplines? Because what I showed you before is something that has been based, the searches has been made based on the study destination. So what about the relevant disciplines for Russian universities? What about those searches? What is the overall trend for IT and engineering in Studyportals? Because in this visual here, we saw that the IT and engineering has gotten a lot of interest in Russia. So maybe we should also think what is the overall trend for IT and engineering in Studyportals, because that data was from this year. Maybe Studyportals in general for overall searches that are happening has noticed that the trend towards IT and engineering is actually maybe going down. Can I compare this data to something else? Can I compare this to, is this something I can see in our applications or enrollments from this year? Is there some other source I could compare this to? Is this something that responds to something else I see as well in my data channels? And what about the COVID-19? Because we made a conclusion that Indian students would be a good potential for Russian universities. But what we don't see from this data here is that what about COVID-19? Can Indian students actually travel and get visas now? Can they normally apply and enroll? And also, how big is the share of Indian traffic from Studyportals overall traffic? So even if we would see here that there's a high volume from India searching to study in Russia, but what is the overall share that India has from the Studyportals traffic? What is the overall share? Because that actually tells us also something. So when you are taking the first steps to starting to analyze data and make more data-based decisions, three main things to understand. Ask a lot of questions. So when you're analyzing anything, ask a lot of questions. And be critical. Be critical not only on what you see, but on the source, and compare it to always something, because it is good to understand that data analyzing is a puzzle. So here actually in this visual, you can see on the pink puzzle pieces are usually something that the universities can more easily access. So there are the internal enrollment data sets, for example. There are the government policies and the scholarship requirements, visa information. All of this is something that the universities have. But there are some missing data as well, what usually universities have, such as real-time student data, supply and demand data that the external providers can have. And this is something interesting when you're also making market decisions for the future, for the further future, is to look into possibilities to access also data that you normally don't. Now, key takeaway. So how to promote university, online courses and programs in a highly competitive environment. Make sure you're present online. Because indeed, like I said, offline marketing can be impactful and important. But now, especially when we're still living in the ongoing pandemic, we need to be present online. Make sure your website is optimized for online promotion. Implement tracking to be sure you can follow the true return of investment. Use track data to further improve your international student recruitment strategy. Now, these are the main key takeaways from this presentation. And now I'm very happy to respond to any questions you may have. And also, I'm happy to respond to any questions regarding this presentation, regarding my expertise, regarding the online promotion in general, but also if you have any questions about portal marketing, which is something that I do daily. So I'm happy to respond to any questions you may have. Now I think I need Alexei you. Let's see if I can contact Alexei, because I am not sure how I'm able to. Okay, I can see now some questions from the Q&A tab. Is there any danger of content quality decrease when universities are doing their best to catch Generation Z attention? I'm not sure if I understand this question correctly. But if this is about the content that needs to now be more precise, more visual, more video rather than only text and so on, then thinking whether the content quality then actually decrease, then increase or improve, I don't think so. I mean, of course, that means at the same time that we need to do a lot of effort towards having quality content. So it is different thing to write a good text to a university website, for example, or to any marketing advertisement or anything. But if we want to really catch the attention of Generation Z, we need to make, for example, indeed videos and more visually attractive messages, which then means also more work. I also can see here, in order to keep up with the latest trends, should we try working with TikTok? Yeah, very good question. I would say it depends a lot on your what the social media strategy you have had so far, what you have done so far. You can maybe compare that to what has been the result of that already. TikTok is an interesting channel because I think it is indeed the Generation Z channel, and I think it's still going strongly. But there has been some downfalls with TikTok as well. For example, I'm not sure if it's still going on, but USA in some point was at least considering to leave out TikTok completely, deny the usage of TikTok in USA. So these things definitely are something to have a look at before starting to highly invest in TikTok marketing. And what is good to also check, because at least many universities do Instagram marketing already, or they are present in Instagram. Instagram has also now launched the Reels function, which is something that is now competing or starting to compete with the TikTok. So this is something to keep in mind. But why not? This can work, for example, for the student ambassador content and such. Good to have a look at.
Okay, so I'm back. Excuse me for disappearance.
No worries.
Marianna, thank you for answering to my questions.
My pleasure.
Okay, then I will continue. Next, the next question from Christina Koenig. Should we involve the academics in order to provide quality content for marketing?
In order to do what? Sorry, I didn't hear.
In order to provide quality content for marketing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, indeed. Why not? Because what we do, for example, at Studyportals, different teams actually can have an impact on the marketing, give ideas, give inputs, try out different things. So it's not only for the marketing team, and maybe the academics can have sometimes at least some good ideas and input for the content that can be used. However, everything that we create content-wise needs to always be thought from the user perspective. So thinking first that, okay, is this something interesting and relevant for the students who are thinking to study in our university?
Okay, so I again disappeared. So there is last one question. Have you answered it or not?
The content question that you asked, yes.
Yeah.
I tried to answer
Great.
it. I hope people were able to hear it.
So, okay, I'm disappearing and appearing, sadly. So, and the last question from Louisa Kalalan from the University of Tsukuba. When universities market to the students' parents, guardians, will that still be through analog means, for example, printed brochures, catalogs?
Yeah, that's a good question as well, because it is indeed the fact that the Generation Z, which are the students we're now trying to attract, they are different generation than their parents that are working differently and maybe respond to different marketing channels. Now, it is good to keep in mind, and like I said, yeah, brochures such may be something interesting for the parents' generation, and they are still something that I would say is okay to do, and as long as it's still working for you, why not? And if you have the budget for it, why not? But as we can see also from across the generations, all the generations, they use online. Every single one uses online. I also checked on articles for a different presentation that I had about social media activity. And what we can see in Europe, for example, is that the average person consumes or uses social media 3 hours a day. So 3 hours a day, no matter the age or anything, average person uses 3 hours a day for social media. So you are able to catch the attention of parents also online. You just need to be cautious on how you do the targeting. For example, in different social media channels, you can target a little bit differently. In Facebook, for example, if you're targeting for the parents and you're targeting for the students. But mainly, just to summarize, my answer is that I would always do the main activities towards the students anyway.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, dear colleagues, if you have any other questions, do not hesitate to send them via chat or Q&A tab. It's pretty easy, and we are waiting for more questions.
Yes,
so,
shoot me with questions.
Okay. Gen Z, I do apologize. Pretty lovely topic for me. I've been a mobility coordinator, and at that times I was working with another generation, and it was at some point easier, at least for me. So, what do you think of involvement, the newcomers, new students into the marketing? Just we should think like them to recruit more students of this age.
Yep, definitely. And what is a challenge definitely for all the marketing departments, no matter even the field, is that the marketing for Generation Z, it's constantly changing. So you need to keep yourself updated on indeed different channels. What are they using right now? Is it TikTok? Is it something else? So you need to be cautious, at least that you need to follow the trends, and you need to be present always on the main channels as well. But yeah, indeed, it is perhaps more difficult than it used to be, the marketing now, because of Generation Z being so online oriented. But it makes it also fun.
Great. A lot of work to do, a lot of things to know for us. So, there is one more question from Olga Kulinchenko. Is it important to present an institution activity achievements in the sphere different of the main focus area?
Is it important to present them? Not sure. Is it important to present an institution activity / achievements in the sphere different of the main focus area? I'm trying to see what this question means. Sphere. English is not my first language, so I'm thinking what sphere means. But anyway, so activity achievements.
You're great.
Yeah, sorry. Sometimes I have these moments when I'm looking at some word and I have no idea what it means. And when it's a question, it becomes a little bit difficult. However, I'm doing my best to respond. So activity achievements, what I can comment on that as a topic is that definitely something to show for your audience and show for your target students. Definitely something. I don't know what this means on the main focus area now. Should it be different from the main focus area? I'm not sure what the question means, but as I said, like I can comment on the activity and achievements. They are always something good to have visible when you are marketing and on your website, at least.
Okay, good. It seems like that is all for now. So, dear colleagues, we are mentioning again that the presentation via recording will be shared later after the conference. You'll get all that useful links to review, revise all the material that you have received. We still have some time for us, but I think we may finish. So, dear Marianna, thank you so much for a lot of information, which is really useful. And all of us, me and my colleagues and our participants, I think will be thinking about how to improve themselves in terms of marketing. And there are lots of things to be changed because time is changing really fast.
Yeah.
So that is all.
Thank you very much. It was my
the next
here.
session. Thank you so much. So the next session will be a World Cafe session. I think it will be action-packed session with lots of participants. Please don't forget to take your coffee or tea or any other lovely beverage of yours, since it is a World Cafe. And we'll be waiting for you in the next 13-15 minutes or so. Please stay tuned.
Thank you, Alexei.
Goodbye. Thank you too.